Welcome to the first podcast episode of Conversations with Elders. I'm your host, John Thomas Dabari. My guest today is Gail Lacroix, a woman whose smile, playful nature, and curiosity stuck with me the first time that I met with her on the Animas River Trail in downtown Durango. I ran into her a few more times along the trail, and I finally asked her for some time to sit together so we can channel some of Gail's energy, spirit, and wisdom. Gail grew up Catholic, and she knew at an early age that the ways in which society viewed women and the roles that they should play didn't suit her. Gail carved her own way. She was a maverick, and she still is today. She's a creative, reiki master, lover of life, open-minded to life's mysteries, and cares deeply that people find their authentic expression. To name a few of the things that come to mind after sitting with Gail. In Jesus' name, I pray that anyone guided to these spoken words feel empowered to create the things that their heart and soul wish to breathe into this world. And if there are blocks or strongholds preventing them from creating this, or even allowing them to connect to the things that truly light them up, in Jesus' name, I pray that these strongholds and blocks be removed from their lives, and that spaciousness open up for love and light to fill that space, here and now. Amen. What do I feel intuitively in my body that my body's asking for? My body, mind, and spirit. My spirit especially.
Well, and consider that who we are, as I shared, is that we're human beings, okay? We were all born unique, and we'll all pass unique. Now, different generations have different conversations. So, may I share about my mom?
Please.
Okay. So my mom is 94, and all the conversations she has shared with me and my other siblings, I'm the oldest of 5, is that if you don't have your health, you'll have nothing. Okay? However, she has it that health is outside of herself. It's not something that's within ourselves. Okay? So based upon these patterns of conversations of the different generations, does have like an aura about it, you know, because I don't align with what she says.
Right.
However, I listen to her, okay? And such that she's gotten, so like yesterday, my 2 sisters and brother-in-law had mom on my youngest sister's iPad so that we could FaceTime. And she looked at me and said, remember, God's in charge. God's in charge. And health is a gift. That's it. So she looks outside of herself with regard to her health. Everything is external. And I have a view of vibrations. Like vibrations attract like vibrations. And so what's there for me to have, like to eat, or is what works based upon my physical structure, okay? And like you said, and what's there that draws me. So my roommate coming back, I've loaded up the refrigerator, and it's like, okay, so I know he's 6'4". Yeah, he's a foot taller than me. And of course, his body structure requires more intake of energy than mine. So I'm okay having 1 meal a day, you know? Well, if he needs something to have during the day, then there's something there for him to have. So, yeah, and the lifestyle that I'm now embracing has to do with no salt, very minimal sugar, and high protein. Okay, that's my lifestyle. And that's what works for me, but that doesn't mean it will work for everybody. But like you said, John, it's how do you get in touch with your body? Okay, and so, yeah.
When you say get in touch with your body, you're referencing your mom going outside of herself, that her health is outside of herself. What does that look like or feel like to you?
Okay.
Let's say when you're attuning to what your body's asking for,
Okay.
or who, like from a vibrational standpoint. I'm thinking of conversation, you know, you and I, our energies drew together.
Right.
You know, and that's why we're sitting here having this conversation. And so I hear from an energetic standpoint, there's a level of body attunement.
Yes.
Attuning to energy.
Yes.
So what does that look like for you?
Okay, so just last week, I was ready to go for my walk, and when I left the house and I'm in my car and I'm driving on El Camino, and I'm going, okay, where could I go? I need protein. I can feel my energy dropping. So I went, okay, this is at 9:45 in the morning, and right there on my right is Big Five, and I go there for my outdoor gear, and so I went there and I went, oh, darn it. I didn't say it that way. I have a wonderful term called sugar honey iced tea that I learned while playing golf. So it was, okay, they're not open. Where am I going to go next? Okay, just down the block is Nature's Oasis. I'll go in there. And sure enough, I went and got myself a protein bar that I've never heard of before. And it's all plant-based. And it was peanut butter flavor. I sat in my car and ate the whole thing, turned off the engine, and went, oh, there's the path for the trail right there. So I went, I'm going to do that. That was it. Just follow that direction. And it was exactly, it was like, oh, I have this map and I need to do this or whatever. No, it's on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
And listening, like you said.
Listening.
What comes to me.
Absolutely.
That's why we have 2 ears to listen.
And the way in which we experience the world is through this plethora of sensations, these sensory organs that God has given us, you know, our ears, our eyes, and that is, we can sense into the invisible energy. Yeah. So my question is, it sounds like you're somewhat describing intuition. Is that what you identify as intuition, or is that something different?
It's totally different. Okay. Yes. So I'm going to like divert the conversation.
Please do, yes. Okay? Take it, channel
just
with me.
Just looking at physicalness, okay? You know, we're blessed with eyes, you know, and ears, and so we have these physical senses. Well, where my eyes are pointing to is a view over there. You can't see that view because you have your back to it. You have a view over there that I can't see. And so looking from the perspective that, oh, if I turn my head, oh, I can see that view. The views that we have, they're not wrong. It's just a view. And so it's like, oh, now with, you know, expanding that beyond a physicalness is that energy. And I've been involved with energy work for 33 years. You know, I am a Reiki master. I can send my energies all over the world. However, there is what I would call a spiritual agreement And that is, I am not here to impose my gifts on anyone unless they ask. So yeah, I can share with them. Like the other day, I have a girlfriend that lives in Denver, and she has issues with her breathing and emphysema and then COPD. And I asked her, I said, would you like me to send you some energy? And she wrote back, yes. And so I shared with her, you know, just you're embraced with this blanket of warmth, okay? Now, she's involved with the Western medicine and had taken some medicine that after effects messed up her intestines and all. And she's been dealing with that and now goes back to the doctor yesterday. I have not checked up on her to see what happened. So it's like, where are we brought up and raised in? What type of an environment, okay? So, and I, for myself, was born and raised in the Catholic faith. And then at the age of 13, well, you talk about a societal conversation. So inside of that culture, and being from a blue-collar family, at that time, it was that I'm the oldest. I'm supposed to get married as soon as I graduate from high school and raise a family and be domestic. That was not for me.
Right.
You know, it wasn't. And so I went.
At the time, you knew that too?
I knew that.
Okay.
So, and then what happened was there was an incident with our parish whereby a friend of ours, she wanted to get married. And at that time, the Catholic faith had those interviews and stuff. Well, the priest said, no, I can't marry you. And that's when I went, no way, no. That's when I went off and I said to my mom and dad, I'm not following this at all. So then I went off into Buddhism. I went into, you know, Eastern medicines, and it was like every concept like has a piece that's really amazing. It's like on this, you know, quilts.
Right.
You know, we have a two-dimensional plane. However, if we had put it up as we'd see a prism and we'd see light going through it and all that stuff, and you're going, wow, what are we discovering here? That's how I live my life, in wonder and discovery.
So you're saying from what I'm hearing, there's a lot more than what meets the eye.
Yes.
And at an early age, it sounds like you had this curiosity.
Yes.
You didn't feel truth resonance.
Exactly.
In what you were being exposed to within the Catholic Church. And what it meant at that point in time to, as a young woman,
right,
evolve and turn into a woman.
Yeah.
And what that process looked like to you was different than what society had.
Yeah.
And so at this time, I'm imagining there was probably a little bit of resistance.
Oh, very. Yeah.
You're kind of going against the grain
right,
here.
Exactly.
I think that's just so admirable in terms of you knowing that.
Yeah.
And you following that path that you felt called to.
And what's interesting, when you reflect back on life, and I look at the different events that happened, so I was born breech, Fanny first, and my mom at the time, they called in her obstetrician, called in a gynecologist, female, who had small hands, so they didn't have to use forceps on me. So I interpreted it, because that's empowering for me, is I could do it in two different views.
Then you're doing it your way.
I could say, like I was mooning the world.
There you go.
Okay.
I love it.
Or I could say I didn't need to know where I was going.
Wow.
And so I take on the latter. Yes, I am a trailblazer. Okay. And however, I've been, quote unquote, what I would say, not sharing with anybody about my discoveries.
Yeah.
Now it's time to, okay, be inside a community, because realizing that I'm not here on my own.
Right.
Geez, being the oldest, it's like, yeah, right. I could care less about everybody. But that does not resonate with me anymore. Being out here. And yeah.
There's something that's, ever since we got introduced, which I'll just share briefly about that. Here where we are now is Memorial Park.
Yeah.
And you're here walking every day.
Yeah.
And this is a spot that I love to come to as well. And I was having my lunch, I cut open a pineapple, and you walk by and you go, I'm eating the pineapple, and you go, boy, that smells good. I said, my pineapple? And you go, yeah. I go, do you want a slice? And you said yes. That right there there's a playfulness, and there's a willingness to explore.
Yeah.
You walked into that opportunity that is unique, I feel, in today's age.
Yeah.
One thing that you say whenever we're parting ways is, I love you.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me the first time that you said it, because I was like, did she mean to say that? Like our souls have just been acquainted, although there is a resonance. And when the second time you said it, I was like, that feels good. That feels good to know that somebody is on that wavelength and frequency, albeit we don't have a deep, intimate knowing of one another, but at a fundamental level, as a human being, we're all in this together, and like, I love you.
Yeah.
So when did you start, like, where does that come from? Like, when did you start doing that?
That was interesting, because like you said, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Right. How I can word it is vibrations. Like you said, there was this connection, and it's like soul to soul. And what happens physically is that it's like my body is now expanding.
The heart resonance.
Yes, exactly. Now, doing walk, right? And I'm there. My intention, I have an intention, is, get up and smile. What am I creating and causing today? Am I going to be, quote unquote, in a survival mode, which most people are? Or am I going to create my day? And what will that be? So today is who I'm being, is clear, in action, vibrantly alive, and playful.
Wow.
Yeah, we have that. But when we look at from our past on, like we have blinders on and we don't realize it, that this is the environment you grew up in, this is what's going on. And I was, as you could say, I was a maverick. I rebelled. And my work environment was, at the time, everything was male dominated. And I had to dress down because of the interactions that I would have from people, because that's not what I wanted to be looked at. It wasn't about my chest. I wanted to be noticed for my brains.
Absolutely.
And how do we go about that?
Yeah.
And so now, when we look at where is today in humanity, and seeing the demographics, right? So, like my son, who looks about your age, and my grandchildren, they are coming up as a leader. Like they're already birthed into that type of an environment. So I'm not here to push my views on them. No, I'm here to listen and guide them in fulfilling on their passion and loving their life.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and every time, that's why I love Durango. I love the school system here and everything. So when, we're guiding the children and all, it's like, it's so wonderful to see on the path here, the men with young children and all, and I'm going, that was unheard of in my time. Because at that time, it was all about just providing, period.
Right.
And when you're done your work day, that was it. And so it's like, no, that wasn't my calling, So, yeah, that's what I'm here for. That's what I love.
There's so much beautiful perspective that you just shared. And from living this, you're not forcing anything upon anybody.
No.
It's the way in which you hold yourself.
Yes.
And the vibration that you carry that I feel like that's more impactful. That's more influential and ripples out into the community through, it could be accepting a piece of pineapple or the smile that you have on your face when you pass somebody.
Right.
That to me is profound work. There's not anything small about those actions because of the ripple effect that they have within the community and beyond, because as we spoke about, we're all connected.
Exactly. I like what you said. It is a ripple effect, okay? Just taking, along the river here and a flat rock and then skipping it along the water, you see the ripple effects throughout all of that. That's how we are. We have a ripple effect, and I know it can be sometimes hard to grasp, but our energies are not just felt here, but all over the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, and consider this. And I think I started this with you before. It's like, what comes out of our mouths is invisible. So that vibration that comes out, what am I causing with that? And so you wonder where the breath goes. Yeah. And so it's like, there is so much who we are can be such what I call a lighthouse, beaming and, for people. And I know based upon the attraction, what are we up to? What are we causing here? And I am so grateful of our encounter. And so in seeing what's happening. So it's like, okay, I have skills that I was raised with. Yeah, since the time I was little, I love math. I love numbers. So I explored that much later into life about sacred numerology and looking at what I do have, like my whole career was based on business administration, accounting, like finance. However, I chose not to be a CPA because I wanted to have space and time with my children. So, and I've created a business that I've registered with the state of Colorado here in 2017. And now I'm focusing on that. It's like, okay, are you ready? It's called New Frontiers, Joyful Living. And from a being on the ground type of thing, I'm a notary public. And I have my QuickBooks Online bookkeeper certification. What there is I've been involved with people here through my, being in construction, all these master craftsmen that are so great at their trade. However, they know nothing about the back office. And it's like, hey, I can be that invisible back office, So I bring that, and then I can hear, in conversations or whatever, what do they really want to have? happen and stuff. And can I guide them in fulfilling on that?
I think that's awesome. And what a gift to have you on board, you know, on the back end, handling the numbers, handling, you know, the lifeblood of the company.
Yeah.
You're infusing it with your loving vibration. And I think that is powerful. That has a powerful impact on whole host, like the whole network of the business that you're working with, their families, their children, the community, how they pump that money back into the community. And so where you're infusing your love is like the source for a lot of people.
Yes.
You know, so I love that.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's what drew me first here to Durango was in 1994 when I was engaged to my second husband, and we just decided to take a journey from Denver and just do a circle. And Walsenburg, and then to Pagosa and all. And as soon as we hit Durango, I could sense something. I didn't know what it was at that time. And it was interesting how we listened to Native American music while we were driving. And I'm going, this is, you know, when I look back, the coincidences, you know, and how then back in, when I moved here, it was right at the pandemic. And it was interesting because I was living with my roommate, and I have been together for over 18 years, and he's an amazing human being. And he had said I accepted a job here in Durango based on, you know, in construction on Indeed. And so I came from my interview, and it was a family. It was a husband and wife owned business. And, you know, and we had our masks on, and the gentleman says, do you mind if you take your mask off? Just I want to make sure you have your full set of teeth.
Oh my God.
And then they said, you know, at your age, you could retire. I said, yes, but I'm not. I have something to contribute. And then I shared with them, it's not my skill set. Yeah, I have over 40 years. It's my values. And I have what I call, it's like being the four corners. We're here in the four corners, right? My first corner is being integrity. What I say, I make sure I communicate. So for example, today, with regard to coming together, you know, I was looking at the clock on my dashboard, and I know I don't text while I'm driving. And I don't text while I'm stopped at a light. So yes, you had communicated with me, and then I texted you back and saying I was on my way. Now, as soon as I got parked behind your vehicle, I looked at the time, and it was definitely 1 minute before we were to meet. However, I knew if I was going to be like 5 minutes due to traffic or whatever, first thing I would do is say, John, you know, I didn't meet our time. What impact is that on you for me not doing that? You know, so I get to see what is the impact on others for me for not fulfilling on what I gave my word to.
Wow.
And then also, there are structures we have to keep our word in existence. That's why I have calendar, you know, so I can mark down everything. Otherwise, I'm sorry, I will not remember everything because when I go to bed, I want peace of mind.
Sure, absolutely. I respect that. I respect that.
So it's like, Yeah, we have these actual physical tools to keep our word alive. And that continues for me everything.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and I'll go back to how I was raised with the Bible when it said in Genesis, God spoke the word. So, yeah.
So when you're talking about, you felt something in Durango.
Yeah.
My ears perked up because I was supposed to be in Whitefish, Montana, and I stayed. God, I felt through guidance, was saying something's here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that fully is yet, but we wouldn't be having this conversation had I not stayed. And so there's this great unfolding, but there's definitely it's not a vortex, but there's something here, open-mindedness of people.
Well,
there's a palpable energetic something here.
Well, if you look at it, the Animas River, that's why we have the hot springs, has a chemical in it that is all about that, like my friend who's a master counselor, they use it for stopping depression. So there is a natural, in the air, there is this gas. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, and if you walk down this path, okay?
Yep.
You will see some granite pillars that says Earth, Venus, Mars. And some have little sculptures on the top of them.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and
Jupiter's in front of the library.
I know it.
Yeah.
So you talk about that, and a person that I met on the trail, she was standing there, and I said hi, and she saw me taking pictures. And I saw her with a clipboard, and I said, and what are you up to? And she says, oh, I work here for the town. And she said, I was actually looking to make sure that this is the college children that created this, that they've done what they needed to do. And so it's like, what is it about education, whereby people can be creative, can be their authentic self, and be that passion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could say to you today, when I met you, I said, I could be a real bitch and say, no way, I'm done. I could be that way.
Yeah.
But I choose not to be. Okay? It's like, it says, it's like, it then constricts me like this.
Yeah.
When I'm that way. And we all have that. Some of us are blind to it, and there are others that, can do it and say, okay, I've been a real jerk to you today, and then you start the conversation and restoring integrity.
Is there, in terms of awareness, attention, and your consciousness, it sounds like those things are pretty protected and sacred in terms of, in this day and age where our attention span is being farmed, in terms of the advertisement that we're, in the news and the types of media and those sorts of things that are meant to draw us out of our attention and to put our attention on other things. Are there things that you do in your life that help protect that awareness and that level of attention and your consciousness of how am I being in this conversation? Or
yes. So like you're saying is that when I come from Like vibrations attract like vibrations. So I'll know, hey, if I want to be really today, that's what I'm going to draw to myself. That's how it works scientifically from that perspective. Yeah, and those vibrations alter over time too, the more we go. So just like riding a bike, when I'm seeing all these wonderful toddlers that are riding, and I'm going, sugar, when I look back, when I had a bike, I was doing that when I was maybe 10, not at this age. And I'm looking at it like at Rotary Park, and they go down the hill and they go up, and it's like, and there's such wonder in children, such wonder and glee, and they're discovering the world.
Yeah.
So looking at their innocence, and I'm going, yeah, that works.
That influences how your perspective of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason why I feel God's called me to this podcast, in terms of building the bridge between generations, from younger generation to older generation. I think the wisdom from both directions crosses that bridge. I think the light, because to me that bridge is a rainbow, and it's the light that's transmitted from both the younger generations and the older generations, shining that light and wisdom when we come together.
Yeah.
And part of this initiative was because I was finding it pretty confounding how at 32 years old I met my first elder. Why was that the first elder that I thought, that I had come into contact with? I know they're everywhere, right? Because now that I've put my consciousness and attention on it, we're just having conversations, and they're appearing. And I know that based upon how communities, the structure of our community, way in which there is this level of divisiveness still. There's not many areas where there is these common places for us to sit and be in each other's presence. But maybe there is. Maybe on the path, it just takes putting our attention on starting that conversation and being that change.
That's right.
That we want to see.
Yep. Exactly.
But I think in terms of the path that I'm hoping that we can walk towards, in terms of harmony as humanity with Mother Earth, within ourselves, within each other, our communities, it's coming back together. It's having conversations with each other, opening our heart to and putting our priorities back on what truly matters, and that's each other.
Exactly. And that's, like you said, what truly matters. Where do we want to make a difference? And I can't say what truly matters to you. You get to say it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get to see the smile on your face, the sparkle in your eyes.
I love that. I love that.
And, that's interesting, using the word God. For me, as I continue to expand and being inside with energy and all, that word from a sound perspective for me is safeness.
Safeness?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it's like, and that's what's interesting too about sounds. Like, my roommate is amazing with music and sound and all, and so it's like he hears differently than I hear from that perspective. What matters to us is where our focus goes. And so Yeah, for me being in nature, oh my goodness, and being by the river, I thrive.
Same.
I thrive. And when we look at going back to this Animas River Trail and seeing those granite pillars and saying that Durango is the closest, has its own solar system because it's, so many millions of miles away from the sun. And it's like, as I said, wow, I'm wondering, is that the vibration I had felt since coming into this town? That is like, I'm home. That's the feeling that I have. Yeah. So it's like, now, what is it like for me to carry that and be that safe space for people?
What does that feel like? I'm curious, in your body, when you hear that word and you feel that safety, what does your body feel?
Feels like it's running on all cylinders. I'm looking at the truck there, and I'm using that as a metaphor, but yeah. We have our different mechanisms, and, we physically don't know what's going on inside of us internally. We have x-ray machines, we have now MRIs, we have, like that, and so that others can see what's happening internally to us. And it's like, wow, like I never knew that I would have too many strokes 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and now altering that way of how I was back then and saying, yeah, I value my life. So, and like you talk about, so it's my roommate who had this wonderful gentleman is his fitness trainer out of Canada. He introduced me to him, so I have my fitness training with him, and it's all like what you're embodying, and it's like, wow, I feel like 50 years old, 20 years younger than what I am. And it's like, how did that all come about? So I speculate that's our vibrations that brought us together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, as you say, getting in tune to what that is. Is there some of that intuition at times? Yes. I will not close that off. However, I have what I would call my communications with God, no matter where I am. And so it's like, okay. And I'll ask and say, is this where I'm to be? Type of thing. Because I'm not feeling it or whatever. And
That's what it's funny, it's not funny you say that, but that's exactly what I think intuition is to me. It is that vibration and connection to God. And him speaking to me. It's that vibration that I feel, that knowing that I feel. It's just a feeling I have where it's like, okay, that's the clarity. And if I clear out that pathway, to me, safety, what you're speaking of when you say firing on all cylinders, there's no blockage in my body.
Exactly.
Energy, prana, chi is moving through my body effortlessly. And the spiritual substance that is literally all around us, just as the air that we breathe in, there's no lack of it. There's no lack of spiritual substance that's around us.
That's true. The trees live off of our carbon dioxide.
It's all connection.
It is all connection. Yeah.
It's all within us all. That spiritual substance, that God part, those God part, they're within us all. And when we can attune to that specific vibration that we're speaking of, which to me, that connection to God is, I feel almost the same heart, like it's that heart resonance. When I feel that, it's the same frequency that my heart operates on that I feel like is my connection to God.
Well, and it's interesting you talk about the heart, because from a biological point of view, the heart pumps and it pumps the blood. And as we talk about with the different breathings, what it does, right, to the anatomy of the body. And so what's so interesting is, you know, looking back and seeing my children and grandchildren and looking at what they have been exposed to. Like my granddaughter asked me, she has a very strong intuition. She says how she feels it is in her, what I call a power center.
Power center, right.
Power right there,
Yep,
okay?
Yep.
And earlier she would say to me how she can talk to dead people. You know, and she had no guidance about that. It scared her when she was little. And to be able to share with her, it's okay, and what is it that you're bringing into you from a vibratory point of view? If it's fear and all that, that's what's going to come at you. Okay? If it's love, it's going to be totally different. So, and you can talk to those spirits and say, you're not wanted here. Leave. So, yeah, that's what I guide my granddaughter on.
I love that. The commanding, you know, I had a dream. I'm fascinated with my dream space. I think there's a lot of medicine in the dream space, but there was a particular dream where I was in front of a lot of people, and it was almost like a church setting, but I was down low in this auditorium-like floor with people all up and above watching, looking down. I remember there were 3 individuals whom had some sort of blockage or darkness within their being. The gentleman who I was kind of looking to, who I believe was like a pastor of sorts, I was looking to him to, well, actually, he looked to me to say, hey, it's your time to speak and cast out these spirit, cast out this darkness. You have the power within you because of the salvation that through I'm Christian, and through me committing myself to Jesus, getting baptized. This was shortly after my baptism. Because you have committed yourself to Jesus, you have the power to command in Jesus' name this darkness to be cast out of these individuals. And I was like, no, I don't think I do. I don't know if, and we do.
Yes, we do.
We do. And I think it goes to the vibration that you've referred to a few times, which is, I believe, what's being reflected back to us. So if we're carrying a pissed off nature, that's what's going to be reflected back to us. If we're scared and we're fearful, that's what's going to come back. And so if we're standing in command of, no, I am commanding that this is not, that you leave now, that's the power that God gives us.
It's interesting because when you were just sharing, I was present to, like you said, where are we coming from in the physical environment, okay? Because that's what people are used to most of the time, is this physical environment. And then, with the expansion of technology, I mean, look at what we're doing, okay? And looking at sciences, neuroscience, and how that impacts what's going on with our brain when we talk about breathing and walking and all of that. What is it like being, quote unquote, aware of our surroundings? Like me feeling that wind on my face right now. We cannot see the wind. However, we can see how it impacts the leaves. Okay? And it's like, and I have a nose, my olfactory senses inside my nose, attuned to smelling. It's like, I'm very grateful that I have all my physical senses. And so that it's like, wow. And then like sitting on a park bench here, and like this is such a quiet space.
I feel gratitude.
Yeah.
With you speaking about those things, I feel gratitude. I feel what you feel, what I perceive you feeling from those things. I can't help but feel gratitude.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I've experienced those things too, and it's the simplicity of that wind, that breeze.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I love nature so much. This is God's creation, you know. This is my church.
Exactly. That's what I would said when I first got divorced. I said, my life is my church. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what am I now feeding it? What am I now, doing with it? Type of thing. So it's like, and I found a method. I found, like we're talking about, people that are on that same path. It's a community, and it's like, yeah. And what we do doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong. No. It's just that, okay, our vibrations, they're exercising this way. I know for myself, I don't care to ride bikes because it doesn't use the upper part of the body. That's why I like walking, so I can actually do that.
Bump your arms, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And I can do this on the path, And it's like, yeah, or I could get on by that tree and start stretching. And it's like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm very grateful for the people in my life, So, yeah.
Who in your life now is of the greatest inspiration or motivation to you?
That's my trainer.
Your trainer?
Yeah. Yeah. I've never encountered someone that's like you and I, that we're on the same wavelength. So at this point in my life, yes, this is so great. And yeah, and what's that? Yes. And and I can, from a second perspective, my roommate, I would say it this way, he has a different listening, and so he can hear things that I don't, and it's like, okay, so he coaches a different way, and so, yeah.
This perspective that you're saying, when I can't see behind me, maybe he helps you turn
Exactly.
to listen and hear from a different perspective.
Yeah, there's always something. When I come from a view of infinity, it's like, oh, there's so much still to explore and,
wow, yes.
Receive.
Yeah. I love that. I think there's something so beautiful about your ability to stay so open-minded. I've got some pretty hard-headed people in my family, and not to say that they're not open-minded, but I think it's a beautiful quality to retain that level of open-mindedness that you've had since you were a young girl, it sounds like.
Yeah, but as you said, I've hit a lot of brick walls.
Well, totally.
Based upon where I was and so forth, and it's like, yeah, and I was someone who was, like I said, a maverick. That doesn't work either. Where you plow over people, and stuff like that. And so being able to definitely have the lessons learned and use those to train others and, share with others. Because like the lessons you learned aren't the same, the ones that I've learned, So.
Well, and that builds our resilience.
Yeah.
And that also builds story, which story I feel like is medicine and lessons that we get to choose to share with others. And what I envision as conversations with elders is back in the day, us sitting around the fire, right? And us just sharing stories.
Yeah.
feeling into the wisdom that you've obtained through your life.
And that's interesting, because when I heard the word elder, based upon the different cultures, has a different meaning. You know, so looking at it from a perspective of where we are here in the Native American area, and okay, there was always wisdom with the elders, you know, the women and so forth, and it's like, okay, am I going to be quote unquote, excuse me this way, quote unquote a know-it-all, which I don't know it all. And, you know, there's another term we use called a smart rat, is, or am I going to listen and hear what is being said? That's taking a long, that's hard, that's taking a while.
That's gotta sink in, man.
Yes, it does.
Because that's so big. It's big.
Yeah.
It is. The ability to listen, I feel like, is a secret power.
That's why we have 2 ears.
It's a secret power. To listen to our body, to listen to God, to listen to our partner, to listen to
animals.
Our animals. That communication is pivotal. I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
What lesson is most present and alive for you that keeps surfacing for you today, like, or in this season of life, in this year or chapter? What do you feel like you're learning?
Well, first of all, as I said, age makes no difference. It's just a placeholder on this planet. So it can do anything in that respect. Also, another lesson is I get to create my life at every moment. And that freedom is something you can't take away. You know, I do that. Nobody can do anything to me. I do it to myself.
I love that you circled back to this when you spoke of creativity earlier, like you get to create. That's powerful. And I'm curious, as a creator, what does your relationship to your creative process look like?
Well, as I said, what that looks like, you know, when we wake up in the morning, I'm not automatically in a creative space. No. It's like, okay, and like you talk about, it can be like a meditative state, but it's being present to, okay, here's my surroundings, all right? There's a fan over my head. There's the door that goes out. I have this, I have a lot of Native American stuff. And so I just look to see, and I have pictures of my family. That's what's so. There's no meaning to it. It's just what's so. And I can go, okay, I can be just that and just be with what's so with everyone and everything and not make an impact on this world. And like, I'm here to make a difference. So that's when I go, okay, I'm short. When I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, I cannot touch the floor. So in that space, it's like being in the void. I have a choice in the matter. Right? Do I really want to be pissed off because my cat Doc had knocked over a small painting that's on to my left on my side of the bed? That's just what happened, and go, okay, Doc, thank you. You know? And so, and then I create. Well, who am I being today? Yeah. And there are times that creation lasts for a while until something else shows up that I wasn't aware of.
Do you ever feel like you've gone through these periods of time where your creativity has been blocked?
Yes. Yes.
Are those times challenging, and how did you move through those periods of time?
Well, at that time, That's when I became the maverick and the trailblazer. So I put people aside. And it's only when I reflect back and have conversations with those people and say, gosh, I was really being a bitch to you. I'm really sorry. How did you feel? Was I like, quote unquote, metaphorically stabbing you? Like you had nothing, you couldn't do anything. And yeah. So the people in my life, yes, like my former husbands, the first one did die, and the second one is now in a memory care facility. So it's like, he knows who I am, but he doesn't have any short-term memory. So he just talks about the long-term memories because, and from the brain perspective, that's the cells that are working. And so it's like, now it's a routine of, okay, who am I being with? How am I being with them? You know? So yeah.
In terms of, you spoke of like the maverick and you kind of removing yourself from environment or from certain people or from energy that wasn't in alignment.
Right.
Do you see that as a necessary, that was a necessary move for you?
At that time for survival, yes. Yeah. Now what I'll say is, do you mind if I agree to disagree with you? And if they don't mind, great. If they say, no, this is what my view is, and this is the truth, and this is what's going on, I said, okay, well, good luck with your life. Thank you. And it was great knowing you. That's it.
And you spoke of, you have a lot of Native American things in your house, and you've spoken about like this area, and do you, in eldership, we're talking about that, in terms of what we consider, or they consider ceremonial rite of passage. Do you feel as if you've gone through your own rite of passage in life?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've been through multiple, or was there a specific time period where you remember like this was my trial by fire?
Oh my. I would say at different age groups there was a trial by fire. Do I recall them all? No, because that disappeared, okay? Because I'm at peace with them. So, like now at where I am and what I'm intending and creating is having a permanent place here. And what does that look like? I have no idea. And so it's like, am I gonna, I look to nature because nature provides answers. So looking out the window and seeing the birds that are on the courtyard where I live, and seeing, as we know, this is the time of year where we have snowbirds, where, some of them migrate to the south. And it's like, am I going to migrate north? Am I going to go migrate? It's where is that resonance going to call me? I know this is a special place. And I know you used a term, but there is a term that I do believe in, of vortexes. And this is a highly, if you watch, and when I look at how the trees are, how some have their branches up to the sky. And then if you go on the path and you look now with the leaves falling, there'll be some that you'll see the shapes go down like that. Yes, do I make that an interpretation? Yeah, I do. Is that something that empowers me? Yes, it does. Is it something where some people will see it as, well, those branches are just that? That's just how the tree is. How is it that that tree grows differently than that tree? We're in the same area. I don't know. I'm not in that regards of having that knowledge. You know, like we meet here on the path, and the staff that's from the Parks and Recreations Department, the landscapers that know about the trees. They know about the plants, which ones to plant at what time and all that stuff. I don't know that. That's not my area that calls to me.
Right.
But I'm very honored by them, that what they do and what they create and what we can see and smell and all. It's very thriving. It's uplifting. And then I said to one lady the other day, I went, well, I'm also acknowledging all the people that buy the Powerball ticket, the Mega Millions, because as we see on our path, you know, all that goes into the Parks and Recreation. So I said, I'm very grateful for those people that buy that. And I'm one of them at times. Not all the time, but at times I am. You know, so it's like, okay.
You talk about the arborists who come and take care of the trees, like that's what their information and knowledge is surrounding and what they're interested in. And at this point in time, like what is of most interest to you? What vision do you carry with you right now in terms of, what's just most alive?
What I carry with me is guiding people and fulfilling on their passion and loving their life. That's what guides me.
We need that today. We need that.
Yeah. And like you said, from the time we're little, that passion keeps evolving. So it's like, yeah.
Wow.
And I have no idea how long it will evolve. Looking at it from, I have no freaking idea going beyond that atmosphere. I'm not an astronaut, So it's like, yeah.
What does success look like to you today? What does that feel like? How do you judge that?
I'm going to just say success is a word.
Success is just a word?
It's just a word that we make up and we may attribute meaning to it. And for me, success is fulfilling on my purpose here every day.
I love that. Is there any last thing that you want, that's on your heart or your spirit that you care to share with anybody who might stumble across this podcast in terms of a transmission that has been with you now or been with you your whole life that you care to share?
Well, I will share this. As I shared earlier in this community conversation, we have 2 ears. Please listen. Do not think you know what the other person is going to say. Just listen. And then speak.
Well, I appreciate your time. This has been so much fun. This really has been.
It is.
It's been fun to channel with you. It's for me, a unique conversation to have when we can talk about like some metaphysical things and spiritual things. And hearing how open-minded you are and your ideas of creation and playfulness and as a co-creator in your life.
Yep.
You know, we have a choice.
Yep.
How do we want to create today?
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be the subconscious survival mode that
Correct.
you spoke of, right?
Yep.
It's an opportunity. Each day is an opportunity, and I think that's a wonderful reminder for our listeners and for me to remind myself, what do I want to create in this world? Truly. What does my heart and soul truly want to bring into this world?
Where do I want to make a difference?
Where do I want to make a difference? When we start asking ourselves those questions and give ourselves permission to walk that path, man, that ripple effect that we're talking about is going to just choom.
Well, isn't it amazing, you know, when we looked at the rains that we had and how the depth of the river, what it did.
That was insane.
It wasn't, well, and I, like I said, I've only been here for 5 years. I've not been here all my life. And then when I have conversations with people that have lived here for a long time, and you've seen many changes because the history here is amazing.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
It definitely feels like there's been abundance this fall. Late summer, early fall. You know, I've been here since the beginning of September, and so, you know, I'm aware of those rains, and for me, that's a good omen.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a bit tragic for Pagosa Springs and the flooding that was experienced.
Valsita, yeah.
There's definitely a level of abundance that has been felt here, and when that Animas River was just full and moving, because that's where I shower most of the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the power that it was carrying,
yes,
it was potent. So, but Gail, this has been so nice. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very, very welcome.
And,
you're very welcome.
Special conversation. I look forward to casting this out.
Yeah.
And whomever this is meant to impact and ears it's meant to land upon.
Yep.
I pray that it just blesses their lives.
Yeah.
And the spirit of what you said in terms of hoping to empower people to live authentically and connect with their what they truly want to breathe into this world.
Exactly.
I pray that's what they feel.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
All right.
Amazing.
It is.
Let's crack this open. I want a piece.
I'm having it's like, what time is it? 2:30. Yep. Yep. Great.
Yum. It's a little bit warm, but nourishing.
To be able to feel the juices, you know, and then what happens to the taste buds and all of that.
Nourishment the whole way down.
And I can feel it dripping down my fingers.
We're gonna wash our hands in the Animas.
Yep.